So today I want to talk about instincts, mainly because it's fresh in my mind, and it came up in a conversation yesterday. So every Thursday I volunteer my time after work at a local wildlife rescue center. And right about now, we're coming to the end of summer, so you have the second, not every species has it, but there's a first and a second breeding season. So we still have some babies that come in that need bottle feeding that unfortunately are orphaned. In one of the cases where, and you've probably seen it, where the mother squirrel was moving her pups from one location to the next, and she had to cross a road, and unfortunately after she moved two of them to one spot, she was hit, and therefore leaving those two orphaned that a couple of roofers found. So accidents like that happen where, you know, the car is of human design. It's an interference with the natural world, and so we step in to try and in a way correct, even though you can never replace the mother entirely, a way of trying to take back whatever damage we did to the ecosystem by removing the mother. So we have these two orphans. They're very healthy, far enough along where they're definitely going to make it. They're not pinkies. They're not teeny tiny where there's a chance that the human-made formula just doesn't cut it sometimes. We still cannot 100% mimic the mother's milk. But in any case, they will make it. And the conversation came up where I had mentioned that next week they should be big boys and girls to where they can go to their outside cages, which are very big. They're walk-in cages where, you know, we put in tree branches and try to create a natural setting so they get a feel for it. And we want to witness their skills that they have already. We want to see if they know how to make a nest. We want to know if they understand what a walnut is and how to open it. It sounds simple, but these are things that their mother actually teaches them. And that's where it came up, as the individual was intrigued and said, wow, really, like, they don't already know that? That's not instinct. And I said, no. And that's when it dawned on me that I think a lot of people attribute pretty much everything that animals do to instincts. And it's really not true. Instincts are fundamental. Humans have it, animals have it. We all have instincts. So what are they? Instincts are a very basic, and I can't even say knowledge because there's no real understanding that comes with it. The reality is instincts are emotions. Your ability to feel fear when you enter a dark place, that's an instinct. No one told you to feel that way, and there's no rationality initially. It's just a feeling that overcomes you and you can't help it. Any feeling of emotion is instinct. So all animals, all humans have it. And it's essential. It could very possibly save your life. And in instances where you simply don't have the time to think, you don't have the luxury of using rationality, instincts will kick in and get you moving to do whatever it is you need to do to save yourself. That is the fight or flight mode, which again, human and animals do. And that's an instinct to save yourself. So instincts are never meant to be what rules your life. Instincts are simply there in the rare cases where you are caught off guard, you don't have time to think, and you need to react quickly. With that said, what about the emotion of love? Love is also an instinct. If you really think about it, that's truly what it is. The mother who, and this happens a lot, who decides that she simply cannot keep her baby and will give it up for adoption. Her mind has set that is rationality. She says, listen, I don't have a job right now, I don't have family support, and here I have this baby. It's simply not fair for me to attempt to raise this child without having the resources that it deserves. did not ask to be born in this way. This is my fault, so I need to correct this. And so I will give this child to someone who does have what I do not have to give it, in addition to love. So this woman makes up her mind without a doubt, and yet the moment the child is born, she will change her mind. What happened? Instincts kicked in. That attachment to the child that comes, that maternal instinct that tells you, okay, this is yours, you need to keep it, you need to love it. In fact, you need to love it more than yourself. That is instinct. And it's there for a reason. Because let's face it, babies are smelly, they're whiny, they're annoying, they're needy, they're very demanding. And so if you did not have this instinct, you would not take care of it. You would just say, this thing keeps trying to grab onto me and it just needs to leave me alone. Get away from me. But having that maternal instinct, that undeniable attachment, is what makes you, what compels you and drives you to not only love this little needy creature, but to love it more than yourself. This is the same with fathers. So I'm not being sexist here. This is only for women. It's not true. Men and women, because our species requires both parents. It's a big job for just one. And so that is built into our DNA. It's built into what we are. That we are supposed to care about our offspring. It just comes. Now, some of us, granted, in science, nothing is 100%. It's always 99.9, you know. Every now and then you will get the individual who simply does not possess that. Serial killers are great examples. They just simply don't have it. They don't have the capacity. And they'll look at you like, why should I care? They simply don't. So don't confuse those rare individuals who, for whatever reason, it's dysfunctional because it doesn't go with society, and not just what civilized people think. I mean, natural law. It goes against natural law, so it's dysfunctional. It's not natural, but it does happen. So don't confuse that. We're talking about the vast majority. This is what you will feel. So, animals have the ability to love just as humans have the ability to love. For the same reason. Because I can tell you, these baby squirrels are very demanding. And they're strong. As small as they are, they're very strong. They will pry your fingers right apart. And they're just so tiny, they won't even have all of their hair. And they're there just muscling their way through your hands. And it's hard to get a good grip on them. And of course they have big claws, so and they're feisty. So I can imagine the mother having 6 of those things running rampant. It's really draining. So she has to have a huge capacity to love because they're difficult. They really are. So this is what it came down to, is that when it comes to instincts, we really take for granted the role of the mother and father. And this I'm talking about in the animal kingdom. It spans to the human, but in particular the animal kingdom. We seem to give instincts too much credit. And any intellectual ability, we seem to immediately attribute it to instincts. Oh, well, that's instinct. Is it really? Do you know this, or do you just think this? Because you can use rationality and test your theory to find out if it really is so. But this is the reality. Instincts don't make up for the vast majority of their intellect. It really doesn't. They need to be taught many things. And this you will see in these rehabilitation centers. These wildlife rescue centers, you can see it firsthand. If you do not teach them what their food source is, they will not know. That's how you know it's not instincts. They simply don't know it. But at the same time, they already know how to love each other. You will see them hugging and getting buddy-buddy, and one little squirrel, I mean, they can hardly stand. They're wobbly. But one of them is trying to groom the other one, and they're just being real kissy face, like they're just being very cutesy and lovable, and they're very cuddly. They're showing their affection to me. That I did not teach them. I did not tell them, listen, you need to butter up to me if you want anything out of me. Not true. They do it instinctively. They know how to love. They know how to be caring, and they know how to be affectionate. What they do not know are their life skills. And that has to do with foraging. That has to do with building a nest. Their mother will offer them chewed up nuts and seeds when they're being weaned so that they get a taste for it to see if they're interested, just like a human baby. You're still bottle feeding or breastfeeding, but you'll offer it a little piece of a green bean that's very well cooked, just the same with the mother squirrel. It's chewed up, or it's kind of pre-digested to ensure that they don't choke on it. But you just kind of introduce them to their food and just see how they take it. And then as they start to swallow and eat those little pieces, and you say, okay, they seem to enjoy it, they're taking to it, let's see if they will take it out of the shell themselves. So with us at least, we crack the nut open, expose the inner piece, and let them see, this is what you were eating. Do you know to scoop it out? Do you know to try and pick at it with your teeth and get it out? And then after that stage, you just give the nut a slight crack. You don't open it. Just enough that they can kind of smell and try to pick at that crack or seam, and so that the gears can start turning and say, oh, I think I can open this on my own. And then after that stage, they are able to just, you just throw in a handful of nuts the way they are, and they will know to use their teeth to crack them open, because they have already made the association of that yummy thing that you gave me before that lives inside this shell that now I recognize, and I know I have to break it open to get it. These are skills that are taught to them. They do not automatically know it. So, going back to instincts and emotions and the ability to love, do not cut animals short by assuming that everything they know is basic instinct. It is not true. But also, do not put down instincts. They are powerful for a reason. The ability to love is extremely powerful, and it is a basic instinct. So I am not by any means putting them down and saying instincts are insignificant. Not true. But there is a duality. You need your instincts as well as you need your rationality. Because there are times when one is better than the other. And you need to have both. Animals have both. Humans have both. So understand that way of balancing what it is to be a well-rounded individual, animal or human. And that's where people really miss the boat.